for the picking. So look for fresh from Florida tomatoes where you shop and support our state. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
The News Junkie is on. The three best friends you never knew you had, running through the most viral stories of the day. The News Junkie Sean Wasson, Sabrina, and Celine.
It is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023.
Turn left.
Lots to get to today, from he's breaking the rules to politicians fight over baby boxes. A sixth grade teacher forgets the first Fight Club. Calls, dispatches, emails, texts, and more. Hey there, Sabrina. Hello, Celia. Happy hump day. You can join us on the show today. All you need to do is send us a dispatch. Go to thenewsjunkie.com, follow the directions, and hit record on your first dispatch today. You can watch the show on YouTube and twitch.tv/thenewsjunkie. Your message is rolling right into the studio in real time. How's everybody doing on a Wednesday?
Good. Ready to party.
Yeah, just nasty outside though, right?
Yeah,
God.
fun.
Ugh.
April showers.
Hate this week of just like windy, gloomy. I don't know how it is for everybody else, but it's been gloomy.
It's going to get worse tomorrow, so
Is it? Oh.
get ready to wake up in the morning and want to stay in your bed all day long.
And then I spent an hour yesterday after the show fixing the pool. Got it fixed myself, you know. Did some
Look at
things.
you, cool guy.
Prime the pump.
Yep, got it primed, got it going, got it nice and clean or close to it. I was so embarrassed at how many leaks were in the pool. I cleaned it before the pool guy actually comes.
I love that.
Turn left.
Every once in a while, if I have someone like come clean the house, I clean the house beforehand.
Right.
And that was like something I did growing up.
My
too.
dad used to make me do that. He's like, you know, the lady that cleans that house that
Yeah.
he
It's
hired
all
for a
over
while.
now.
She's coming, so you got to clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Always.
she's coming for you to pay her.
Yeah,
to
but
clean.
it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
It's
but
too
we're
bad.
not heathens.
So I get it running, and then this morning I get up and I'm like, let me look at my great work out there and see how everything's going with the pool. Broken again. Right back to square one, so I got to get the real guy to fix things today.
Were you trying to fix it to get that heater going?
No.
Maybe get some April pool time?
You know that's not happening. No. Well, just to
April
try
Fool's
to.
Day?
I wanted to just try to get it to work. That would have been what I was hoping for.
Cannonball.
And I did, but just for a moment. Let's put our ears to the ground, our fingers on the pulse. Let's see what's happening in this great, big, wide world of ours. And we go to a New York Yankees game, everybody.
Yeah.
Sports, here we go. Right off the jump today. And I don't know why this was necessary, but the Yankees broadcast team, including Michael Kay, who's their lead broadcaster, I believe, over there. There's a bat boy, and this is an away game for them, so he's not even a New York Yankees fan, but because he's the bat boy for the New York Yankees dugout, he has to wear their jersey,
Okay.
right?
Why are you a bat boy for the New York Yankees and don't care for the team?
They got to have a bat boy for both teams. You know, I don't know if he likes the team or not, but this is in another city where they're doing this. So they send this guy over, and then all of a sudden the broadcasters start crapping all over this guy, and they're ratting on him, saying he's breaking all kinds of rules and stuff. And
From what I understand, MLB this new season is already like in complete disarray.
this seemed
They
like
added
it.
the robots, remember?
They added the robots. They got like timers on the pitches, and they try to do some good stuff. But why are they bullying the bat boy? That's the question here. Listen to this.
Strange to see a Yankee uniform and somebody wearing that uniform with that sort of hair. There are rules.
How
Rules are
stoned is he?
rules.
He looks like he's high out of his mind. This
would
bat
hope
boy is just
Rip a
staring
bong right
into
before work.
He's looking into the abyss. He doesn't even see a baseball player on the field.
Think about high school girls.
And she said, the broadcaster said at the beginning, he's like, it's strange to see somebody with such long hair in a Yankees
Shut up.
jersey. And then they keep going after him.
Strange to see a Yankee uniform and somebody wearing that uniform with that sort of hair.
Why?
There are rules. Rules are rules.
Rules are rules.
Oh my god, I love his blonde mustache.
They go after that, too. Listen to this.
He's made two of them. I think there's facial hair, and I think there's obviously the hair is below the top.
How,
left.
why is this part of the game broadcast?
They got more.
Is there nothing else going on?
They're going after the rule
That's the whole
breaker.
point. That's the whole reason we get to talk about baseball broadcasts, because the game can be quite boring at times. There's a lot of lulls where nothing seems to happen. So that's why the broadcasters end up going on these long tangents. At least this time they're talking about something that's going on.
Poor
on the
stone
game.
bat boy.
We've heard him just like start talking about Jeopardy. Something random.
And they go up there to shoot.
Red shoes. That's also against
It's also against the rules. He's breaking all of the rules.
These are Yankees rules.
The Yankees have like a lot of dress code
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
There's no Yankee player with long hair before?
No, and he can't have facial hair as a Yankee player, but he's not a Yankee player. He's only wearing the jersey because he's right there next to the dugout. And they're like, he's got long hair, he's got facial hair, he's got red shoes on. Hell, this kid's a walking violation for the team here. Really going after the guy who just wanted to sit there, stoned out of his mind, perhaps enjoying his life as Bat Boy. But there they go, and they're railing on the poor Bat Boy for his dress and his facial situation and his hair also, because that's it.
He needs to get, like, double down on it. Next time that he's the Bat Boy, like, get some extensions, grow a full beard,
Well-
get as high as possible.
You know what? I guess it went further because all of a sudden people got more upset about this, and then they cut back to him and they made him tuck his hair underneath the helmet.
Oh my gosh.
So you couldn't see it.
Stupid.
But the good thing is, then they said his name is Nate. He's in a band. He's a drummer. Open Doors is the name of the band.
All right, let's listen to him.
And he found all the uproar from social media kind of humorous. So he's at least got a plug for his band Open Doors, sitting out there, hanging out, watching the game.
So the Yankee policy says no beards, no beads.
Yeah, no beats.
No mutton chops, no long hair, no long stirrups. It's been since amended to read, all players, coaches, and male executives are forbidden to display any facial hair other than mustaches, except for religious reasons. And scalp hair may not be grown below the collar. Long sideburns, mutton chops are not specifically banned.
That's so dumb.
It's a Steinbrenner.
I know it's the way it goes. So that's pretty silly. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, they wanted to do something different. So let's stick on the sports train here, friends. Let's just go. Let's put the pedal to the metal on this sports train, if there's pedals on trains. But
We'll scoop the coal into the thing.
more coal into the furnace on
There
our
you go.
train here as we go forward in sports. And in Philadelphia, the fans there are known for being really, really respectful and
Yes.
sweet and
Some of the nicest fans in any sports league.
yeah, you can really trust them to behave.
When they win a game, they march single file out of the stadium in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, nobody does anything wrong.
And high fives.
So they're not going to do anything weird when the stadium, the team decides to do something nice for them, right? Because they said, here we go. We got a great game coming up. We're going to do a $1 hot dog night. $1 for a hot dog at a stadium?
That's unheard of.
Seems like a deal. Everybody's buying hot dogs. There's hot dogs everywhere. And all the Philly fans sat there. They watched the game respectively. And they enjoyed their hot dogs. And so...
$1 ammunition.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up just to tell you everything went really well. No, they all started throwing hot dogs at each other. And everybody in the stadium was lobbing hot dogs at other people in the stadium for $1 hot dog night. Somebody goes, it's a food fight.
That floor cleanup crew.
The whole place is just lobbing hot dogs.
Mr. Philly.
They're right out there, devolving into chaos. Philly, I love you. You know, you really know how to mix it up. All it takes is a $1 hot dog for you guys.
I never
to
get to play
create
the
some
hot dog
chaos. I like the hot dog song.
There's a second one here, apparently.
There's two. What's the other one?
This is called the Weenie Man.
Weenie, weenie, weenie on a gun, gun, gun. Pass the mustard and the relish too. Weenie, weenie, weenie on a gun, gun, gun. Pass the mustard and the
Not
relish
bad.
too. Weenie,
Again,
weenie,
I would like to hear this dropped in a club, like right in the middle of a mix. Just
Oh, here.
pop that one on and see how everybody does with it. I also wanted to talk a little bit about yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw this at all, but the police in Louisville, Kentucky had a big press conference, excuse me, and they were showing all the body cam footage of the police officers who arrived to that mass shooting at the bank. And they showed the officer when he first ran up on the scene, and the shooter was in the bank shooting out at the officer. And I don't even know how they ended up getting this guy. It was a very weird situation because there were two panes of glass between the police and where the shooter was barricaded.
and it created like a reflective situation. So the cops could see themselves in their reflection, and the shooter could see out, and he could see the cops, and so he had a huge advantage.
Like
over them.
a one-way mirror?
Yeah,
or what do you
yeah,
call that?
yeah, like a two-way mirror. No. Yeah, I don't know which one it would be, but it was reflective on one side, and on the other side, the shooter had this big advantage, and it showed the cops come up and showed the first cop get wounded. It was absolutely wild to see the perspective of these officers.
I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it says, a one-way mirror, also called two-way mirror.
What the hell?
And sometimes referred to as a three-way.
Yeah, make up your mind on these things. The police body camera video released Tuesday showed the chaotic moments when the police arrived at the scene of the mass shooting at this bank. They also showed some still photos of the shooter in the bank, and they just showed a bunch of stuff from this. And it was pretty amazing, the police work done by these officers who showed up at the scene. But one thing that stood out to me that I saw yesterday, they said that the shooter, the guy who shot up this bank that he was about to get fired from, or did get fired from, they said he had obtained his AR-15 illegally, right? So they put that information out there. So he went and got his AR-15 he was allowed to legally purchase. What do you think happens to that AR-15 now that was used in this mass shooting? What do you think they do with the gun afterwards?
Locked up in evidence for quite some time.
That might be the case, yeah, for a while it would be evidence. But after it's evidence.
I hate to say it, but is it available to the public? Could be an auction or something.
All right, Sabrina says it's auctioned. What do you think, Sue?
Given to a next of kin, maybe?
Given to somebody who is like father, mother, somebody else who's related to him? No. Sabrina's right. They auctioned the damn guns off after this happened. They auctioned the guns off.
Do they talk about it? Like, this is the gun that was used to kill 5 people.
It says under
by a
Kentucky law,
deranged lunatic.
guns and ammunition that are confiscated or turned over to law enforcement agencies in the state must be handed over to Kentucky State Police for auction.
Why don't they just destroy it?
I think some places do. Well, I think some places melt them
they
down.
don't auction off pounds of weed when they take that in evidence.
And they should do that, though.
I'm down and let me know.
That one would make more sense. That's not going to hurt anybody, really.
Wouldn't have to get my drugs from drug dealers.
Right. Just wait for the auction, like people do with cars and stuff.
But yeah, I think it varies state by state, because I know whenever we do the gun buyback programs, like kicks for guns and stuff like that, those guns are destroyed. I mean, they're checked, their serial numbers are checked to see if they were part of an active investigation or to see if they were stolen, but most of them are just destroyed.
Yeah, they just melt them down, which it seems like if you have a gun involved in a mass shooting, then I don't know how many people are going to bristle at the idea that you would take that gun out of circulation for a wide variety of reasons. But yeah, they auction it off. That's what they say is going to happen.
Man, it's so weird when you know, like, the weapon has been involved in something like that. And obviously, because this is a mass shooting, it's much worse. But I knew someone who sold their pistol to a friend after their wife turned.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, I get that you want to get rid of this gun.
The friend must have known too, right?
I think you would have to have known.
That's strange.
Why would you buy that?
Yeah, that's weird. And somebody would buy a gun that was used in a massacre. If they didn't just buy it to melt it down themselves and prove a point, the person that wants that gun, the person that wants to buy a gun that's been used like that, is somebody that.
Murderabilia?
Yeah, I mean that's
so weird.
That's
though.
sketchy. That's very, very weird. And the mayor's trying to change that right now, just for the record. Okay, we got a bunch of dispatches rolling in already. If you're new to the show, here's what you do. You go to thenewsjunkie.com, you do it on your laptop, on your phone, whatever. You set up an account and hit record on your first dispatch. Don't be nervous. It's going to be fine. Whatever your thoughts are on what we're talking about or anything else you want, ask any questions you want, toss it all over there via dispatch. Don't be nervous. I want to hear from newbies today, first-timers.
Yeah, noobs.
Go to thenewsjunkie.com right now. When we return, something that Sabrina just did is getting a whole lot more expensive, they say. We'll talk about what this is and what's going on, plus hear from you. It's all coming up next on the News Junkie.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June? June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me that?
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Join in on the chaos. We eagerly await your dispatch. This is the News Junkie.
You know, one thing that always amazes me is how much rich-ass people are willing to pay for stuff. And just like super random things, or even stuff like sports memorabilia, because, Celine, you just went to see the movie Air, I think it's called.
Right.
And it's all about the Michael Jordan Nike deal and getting that done and all the craziness they had to do to lock him in for this deal that, like, changed merchandising and athletes and stuff forever.
For sure, because nobody had gotten cut of sales for something like that before.
And when I was a little kid, I always collected baseball cards. I told you on the show a long time ago, my sister, after my parents died, mailed me a box, this huge box I had with all these baseball cards in it. And I painstakingly went through all of the boxes.
Googled?
Yeah, Googled furiously to find out how much they were worth. There was nothing.
Is there an app that will look at the cards and identify them and tell you what they're worth?
I don't know if they have like a Beckett app. That used to be the thing that we looked at. It was like the Beckett Sports Guide, and you would go to the type of card and the year,
Sure.
and then it would tell you like in this condition it's worth this much.
And I mean, I've done the same thing, yet I get disappointed by the rates. And then I put it back because I'm like, maybe in 10 years.
There was nothing I had. I'm telling you, there was nothing I had that was over $2. Like all these baseball cards, they were garbage.
How many did you have?
I had like 200-300 of them or something.
So you had $400 to $600.
And when I eBay all these things off one by one, nobody wants these damn things.
We're going to
That's
get
the
a
problem.
headline. Homeless man finds a box of baseball cards in the dumpster, becomes millionaire.
But isn't it weird that I think definitely Sabrina has said something like this before. I don't know if Celine, you've had this situation, but I feel like we all had something in our childhood, and we look back now and we're like, oh, if only I would have held on to that.
Several.
It would have been worth a
Several.
whole bunch of money right now.
Pokemon card I definitely had that would have made a bunch of money. The Super Nintendo game would have made a bunch of money. And I think there was like one Beanie Baby that my parents got rid of. That probably could have gotten a couple bucks.
The only, when we think about something like that, I don't feel that it's a failure on my part for not still having it, because to get the most money out of it, all I would have to do is never touch it and not play with it at all.
Right, which is the antithesis of what you want to do.
Or convince my parents that, hey, every video game you buy me, you should buy me 2 of them so that I can play one of them and then never touch the other one and have it be worth lots of money later.
They would not understand that investment plan.
No, not at all. My dad had a cousin that would get me for my birthday or for Christmas, or sometimes just for visiting. He would get me Hess trucks.
Right, yeah. Those used to be big.
Yeah,
especially for Christmas and stuff.
They used to be big, and he would always say that they're going to be worth a lot of money someday. I don't know where any of those Hess trucks are.
I mean, I had a pair of boxing gloves signed by Mike Tyson when I was young. I had a pair of boxing gloves signed by Mike Tyson. No idea what happened to those. And when my parents died and we went around the house, I'm like, those are long gone.
I thought you bought something like that on eBay.
I bought something like that we gave away for one of the summer prize things that we did. But I had one that me and my dad went, and we went to a boxing event, and Sugar Ray Leonard was there, I think, and then an old boxer named Floyd Patterson was there who boxed Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. And my dad was like out of his character, but he's like, come on. He dragged me over to go to them. And I had like a Sharpie in the boxing glove, and I got him signed, and then totally gone. I mean, that would have been worth at least something now. And we always had these things that was like, if I would have just held on to this, I probably would have had something worth some money right now. Well, somebody, somewhere, held on to a pair of Air Jordans. And with the movie out there that C-Lane watched getting so much attention, they, I think, broke a record because, they've become the world's most expensive sneakers after this auction this week, a Sotheby's online auction. Somebody paid $2.2 million
Oh, my God.
for a pair of Air Jordan
So wait, was it like first edition, or these are the ones that Jordan wore?
These are the ones that Jordan wore during the 1998 Last Dance NBA final season.
I just find auctions like that so strange. Michael Jordan has no rights to his own property anymore.
He must have sold it off, or somebody ended up with the ownership of these shoes, and now they sold a pair of shoes from somebody for $2.2 million. This follows a shirt worn by Argentina's Diego Maradona when he scored his controversial Hand of God goal against the England team in 1986. That went for $9.3 million for a shirt. $9.3 million.
Hand of God goal.
You could have like an $11 million outfit, $11.5 million with just a shirt and a pair of shoes right there. That record was shattered when a mint condition, and this was the one we were always looking for when we were kids, a Mickey Mantle baseball card sold for $12.6 million. So I was always on the quest for that. And I had a Babe Ruth card I bought at one point, but they're actually not that expensive. But that one we were looking for. And then if you got a Honus Wagner card, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. It's a little one. It used to come with tobacco. It was a little card. And back then, my dad used to tell me about this. All the guys, when they would get these little baseball cards from their dads or whatever, they would take them and put them on their bicycles and put them in the spokes.
Yeah.
So it would go and make the little noise, and they would cruise around town. And so there wasn't many of them that were left that survived that were in good condition. So those ones were always like, man, if you could get your hands on this.
So the tiny baseball card came in a pack of chewing tobacco?
I think so.
Like a Cracker Jack prize?
Yeah, it was. I don't even know if this guy was like a really big player or anything, but his baseball card was always super there. And T206 baseball card is what it is. It's just a tiny little card, and it's got this goofy ass looking guy on it, and his little collared Pittsburgh shirt. It says one of the rarest and most expensive baseball cards. Only 57 copies are known to exist. It was designed and issued by the American Tobacco Company from 1909 to 1911. And Wagner, a non-smoker, refused to allow the production of his baseball card to continue. So they made less of them because he got pissed off. And then that became the one everybody was looking for.
Oh, maybe it was like loose tobacco that you you roll your own.
It might have been, yeah. This was some comment at the time that they would put these things in there. They said the ATC ended production of the Wagner card. A total of 57 to 200 cards were ever distributed to the public. Other players had tens or hundreds of thousands of cards over 3 years and 16 brands of cigarettes for all the other players except for this one rando dude. And they are really expensive. Naomi on YouTube says, my brother bought a pair of, or a few Air Jordans. One was the same pair he had as a kid. Yeah, there's tons of people that collect this stuff. There's a huge marketplace for it. I forgot the name of the website that Dylan used to use where they trade stuff like this, or they sell it. It's like an eBay for collector stuff. And it's even like merch from bands and things like that they'll have on there. It's an insane world that people are willing to spend so much money on it. Speaking of spending money, Sabrina, you just went to a wedding on Monday this week.
Sure did.
Did that cost you any money to attend this wedding?
Like an entry fee?
No, not like they would sell you a ticket to get in, but there's expenses related to going to a wedding.
Yeah. I decided to get my hair and makeup done.
All right, you got that. That's not cheap.
But it was worth it because of the anxiety that I didn't have trying to get ready.
So hair and makeup, got both those
yeah.
done. Did you buy a new outfit for this?
No, I used the former dress.
Okay, you used something that you've worn before. Then you got a wedding gift for these people.
I sure did, yeah.
And was it off a registry or something?
It was, yeah.
So usually that can be sometimes a little pricey. That adds up. I'm trying to think of what else you have to get out to a wedding, but it's getting more expensive than ever before.
Did you Uber to the wedding?
No, I didn't.
Okay, see, that would factor in too for some people.
But, I paid for some gas.
Yeah, you got to get over there, right? There's like all these things. People go, oh, you're just invited to a wedding. It's going to be a free food and free fun for you. Go for it. But in all reality, it's expensive as hell. And they were going over in this Chicago Tribune report, I think, all kinds of different things that have gotten more expensive about weddings. One thing that blows my mind, and I don't know why you guys do this, I don't know why people do this. They said the average cost of a wedding in 2023 is about $29,000. 29 grand. Let me ask you this question. Seriously, if you spent 29 grand on your wedding, would you feel like that was a waste of money?
Yeah.
$29,000 people spend on a wedding.
I will have my entire wedding, should it ever happen, sponsored.
Yeah.
I am not kidding.
You'll be like a NASCAR driver going down the aisle. Just get all the sponsors.
Perfectly fine with that.
$29,000 people spend on these weddings. And I'll tell you what, the weddings that I've been to, C Lane's wedding was at your father-in-law's place.
Yep.
And one of Courtney's favorite wedding of her life. I think my favorite wedding I've ever been to, too.
Thanks, guys.
It was a great time, and it was well done, and everything was good. And I'm guessing it probably wasn't $29,000.
Was not, no.
Because these idiots are spending like insane amounts of money on a venue that doesn't really matter that much. It's crazy to me to see this stuff.
And that's like, I mean, the average you're saying.
That the average is
and then
29.
you think about like super rich people's weddings.
Mm-hmm.
There was one TikTok I saw that was about this, like this guy did all the math. I forget who it was, an heir of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the bridesmaids' dresses were at least $8,000.
Jesus.
The gifts that people were taking away were like $2,000.
Right.
And then the venue was, so much more than that.
Catering is incredibly expensive.
The invitations, the flowers.
Yeah, it all adds up. When you go to a wedding convention, the reason they have those is because it's like printing money.
Oh, yeah.
You get a couple that's newly engaged and they're wandering around there and they're like, well, I definitely want the bouquet that has a hidden flask in it. We need to have that at our wedding. And they start going around and it's this thing where you go, this is...
They do the same thing for pregnant women.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah,
God, that's a big marketplace too.
A friend of mine just went to the Prego Expo.
Are you serious?
And it's like a whole thing where they just want to sell you bassinets and strollers and the latest internet Wi-Fi connected monitor and whatever.
I can understand that more though than just a day, a couple of hours even, where
Right,
you're
I see
hanging
what
out with
you're
your
saying,
friends
yeah.
and you're spending 29 grand on average. And if you're in New York, it's more. New Jersey's even more. New York, the average wedding, these people are paying $46,000 for it. In New Jersey, the average is $51,000 to throw your wedding.
It's more expensive in New Jersey?
I guess so. I don't know why that would be. But when I think about that, isn't there so many
The
better
venues
things?
in New York seem like it would be more.
Like if you're a couple, take the $51,000 and use it as a down payment on a house or something. Use it to buy a nice car or anything else. I can't imagine having a day, as much fun as you might have, as beautiful as it may be an occasion, photos, video, and all that stuff, you get that lasts forever. But I can't imagine it ends, and afterwards I'm like, I just spent 50 grand on that.
Unless, you look at the pile of money you got as gifts and it kind of evens out.
Yeah, that's one thing, which is always why I think it puts a little more pressure on the wedding gifts, because you go, I know these couples who are doing this are paying for each person a lot of money. I mean, I don't know, like per table, it's got to be.
They go by plate too.
Yeah, by plate, it's like at least $100 or something for each person that you're adding to this.
Depends on what you want to serve them.
Yeah,
and now it's like
I would go with Arby's.
As it turns out, if you want to serve your guests chicken and mashed potatoes and some Alfredo pasta, it's a lot cheaper per plate.
And you know what? Amazing. Like, what? Do you think anybody leaves that and goes, oh, if only there were better food at this? No one cares. Nobody. It's just a giant scam, man. And they said just going to these things is more expensive too. Where are the numbers on that?
I mean, the wedding is just the grand finale.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have engagement party.
Yes.
Then you have
the bachelor bachelorette
bridal
thing.
shower.
Yeah.
Then you have the bachelor party, and then I don't know if there's something else in between, but it costs money.
Yeah, it's everywhere you look, and people get stressed. Couples get stressed planning all of that stuff, and it says it's going to cost the average wedding guest. Tell me if you were around this, Sabrina. An average of $611 for each wedding that they attend. This says It says between travel and accommodations, if it's like a destination thing, gifts, attire, and grooming, like you were talking about getting your hair and makeup done.
Groomed.
They said the average wedding guest has to pay $611. In the Northeast, it's about $774.
Yeah, mine was less than that.
Man.
Unless we include the bachelorette party.
And I see so many people saying, like, hey, I had a wedding in chat. Somebody just a moment ago, I got to scroll back because it's moving fast. Somebody said, I did my wedding for like $1,500 there. Jeremy says, we bought our house before our wedding. Well, that's a much better use of money. Angel on YouTube says, my wedding cost me around $1,500. I did everything myself. And you know what? I bet you still had a great time. I bet you still enjoyed yourself. And you could spend money on some stuff. Like, I don't know. I thought the way C-Lane did it was really smart. Like, we had this amazing party bus afterwards. That probably wasn't cheap, but that's a memorable thing. I'll remember being on that party bus.
I kind of remember it.
I don't remember much after the party bus.
I do have a point there.
I was S-housed.
Yeah, I do have a point where I completely forget what happened after the party bus. But on it, I was like, this is crazy. This is a big, beautiful bus, and this is a fun time.
Did Sabrina get a hold of the microphone on that party bus?
I think you were DJing. I think you got...
I might have DJ'd.
Yeah, you got a hold of the music somehow.
I did at Fowler's wedding. That bus, I was definitely helping with the direction of it all.
All of this stuff
Just love
is
a microphone, you know?
so expensive, man. And DJs sometimes can cost a whole bunch of money. Or, God forbid, you want a band at your wedding.
Oh, but I do want a band.
Yeah,
it's a cool move, but it's expensive.
When I think of like the most extravagant wedding that I've been to, it was definitely my friend's wedding in Philly, and he had an 11-piece band.
That's not cheap.
That is not cheap
Yeah,
at all.
and
And probably some sort of entertainment for when the band's taking breaks.
Usually when they have a big band like that, they have to have a DJ too. And I've done that as a DJ before, where when the band is taking a break, you start playing dance music and getting people on the dance floor. And that way the entertainment, oh my God, it's such a thing. And it's just getting more and more expensive. But people seem all too eager to toss their money at that. A lot of you in chat made your way around this being frugal, which is probably a smart idea. Let me know your experience, or if you've been to a wedding recently that cost you a whole bunch of money, go to thenewsjunkie.com. Give us your story now by recording a dispatch on the website. When we come back, we'll get to those. We'll get to a podcast listener with a comment about stuff costing a lot of money for the government, and wait till you hear what they say. Plus, an apology on the basketball court. What is going on? You're going to hear it, and it's coming up next on the News Junkie.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June. June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me that it was gonna...
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Filling you in on the shocking details. Just try not to pass out. This is the News Junkie.
We'll get to your dispatches from the News Junkie app in just a moment, plus an email from a podcast listener in a second here. But if you miss any of the show, go to thenewsjunkie.com. You can subscribe to the podcast right there. I just re-upped the email chain with the podcast people to get to the skipping issue. They were very, very apologetic. They said, we'll be right back with you, sir. And then they didn't respond at all.
In fact, are we still sounding like Marvin Gaye?
No, there's a lot of weird. There's weird stuff happening everywhere, man.
And if you're listening to the podcast, like if you're listening to this as a podcast, we've probably already read the email.
Yes, it's probably skipped past and gone back a couple of times. Oh, let me see if I could find that. I sent that in our group text, didn't I? When there's another weird issue that we have where the audio on the iHeart stream sometimes makes our voices real deep. It's just like this really weird sound.
It's like pitch shifted down.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but yeah. Oh, no, that's not it.
It's a video.
Yeah, it was a video that I said. So it just shows like all of a sudden in the middle of talking, it's like we get real slow. And if that's happening to you, we're working on that as well. It's just stuff's falling apart around here. Tips@thenewsjunkie.com. Kyle emails. He says, hey, Sean, podcast listener here. You guys were talking about how much the spacesuits cost and how these companies can charge exorbitant amounts of money for stuff. Yeah, what was it yesterday? $2 billion or something the spacesuits cost, they said?
Yeah.
There's a lot of money that goes into that because there's no competition. When I was in the military, we would waste so much money on light bulbs and other frivolous things. They do this because every single thing in a Navy ship has to be mil-spec specific. There's only one or maybe a few vendors that are actually allowed to order. We're actually allowed to order from. So a light bulb costs a few dollars at Lowe's, and it's $40 for a light bulb for the military. And that's because a specific light bulb has been tested and approved by the government. And that applies to everything in the Navy, at least.
Can't do another test every once in a while?
No, just that $40 light bulb solves the problem. I assume it's like that with every branch, though. You'll get into a lot of trouble if you're not using mil-spec parts. Just thought I'd share that info. Love what y'all are doing. Thanks, Kyle, for the email.
I just resent the thing we were talking about.
Oh, the slow-mo thing?
Yeah, slow-mo.
All right, here we go. Let me bring this up. It's coming through the internet.
You guys
pipes
sound
right
recognizable.
now.
I sound ridiculous.
And it kicks in at a weird-ass time, too. All right, it's floating through the internet tubes, and I will play that momentarily. First, though, I saw this clip of President Biden on Easter that I thought was pretty funny. He's doing the token interview with Al Roker from the Today Show. And Al Roker...
Why is it token?
It's because they do it each
Al
year.
Roker's black?
No, it's not because Al Roker's black.
You call it the token interview
No,
because
it's
Al Roker's black.
The token yearly Easter interview.
He is a respectable broadcaster.
He
I
is.
smell a show theme for today.
I wish he was fatter. I liked fat Al Roker better. I don't trust
I miss
skinny
him.
Al Roker. But you get what you get. You know, this is the Al Roker we got right now. And he's talking to President Biden.
Did you trust me when I was skinny?
Yeah, I trust you both ways. I'm not saying you're not skinny now either. Biden is talking to Al Roker, and Biden is asked, like, hey, you know, are you going to be running for re-election? Which is like the worst kept secret in the
Easter
world.
question. I love that.
Are you running for re-election, Mr. President? And he doesn't want to answer it necessarily right now, but here's what he said.
Will you be taking part in the Easter egg rolls after 2020?
Wait, what?
He said, will you be taking part in the Easter egg rolls after 2024? What he means is, are you still going to be around as the president? Are you running again to do these stupid Easter egg roll things?
At least 3 or 4 more. At least 3 or 4 more. Maybe 5. Maybe 5. Maybe 6. Are you saying that you would be taking part in upcoming election? I'll either roll an egg or being the guy.
Yes, got it.
What the hell?
Don't know what any of that
Big
was.
old nail.
Don't know what that was.
Roll an egger. Yeah, no.
But here's the part that's important.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me. I'm not planning on running out.
He said,
Do you know that they don't have that microphone on, right?
I know, it doesn't sound like
the phone on.
I think it's coming from somewhere else. He says, I plan on running Al, but we're not ready to announce that today. It's like, can you define announcements? Like, what?
That was Sean move right there. Announcement of an announcement.
That's what it was. He's like, I plan on running, but we're not ready to make that announcement today.
Yeah, we're focused on eggers, roller, nothing like that.
Oh, that poor guy. We're looking at your dispatches rolling in. We're going to get to those in just a moment here because a lot of you got thoughts on today's show already. We go back to the world of sports. We're deep into sports today. Yes, we are.
Stop thinking about
Going over
it.
to basketball, baby. Basketball. The Los Angeles Lakers are moving on to the NBA playoffs, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby.
They are kicking ass out there. And in the post-game interview, there was a moment where LeBron James was being interviewed, and he saw that one of his teammates was in the background, and he made fun of one of his teammates for missing a shot, and he's like, it looks like somebody had a brain fart, and then his teammate comes in and like apologizes during the interview. They were having fun though. I think they were having a good time. It sounds like to me.
So 7 seconds on the clock. I'm seeing it in slow motion. You're going
LeBron
for the basket.
James.
You could have went up for it. You decided to kick it out. Explain the thought process.
I've been playing a game like that since I was a kid. I drew the defense, trust your teammates, and he knocked it down. It's unfortunate that AD had a brain fart.
I apologize. I screwed it up. All right, okay. I like
And
that.
exit
At
right.
least the honesty is there as they wrap up the game and head to the playoffs. And you guys know I'm a huge Lakers fan. I live and die.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the Lakers. I've been a fan as long as I can remember. And LeBron James is my favorite player on the team.
Oh.
Name one more player.
AJ. I
Nope.
think AD is the guy who was just mentioning, and that's another one of my
That's
favorite
short
players.
for
A damn good ball player.
Antonio Dontrelli. You didn't think I knew. You
Dontrelli.
didn't think I knew, but it's Antonio Dontrelli. That's who it is. It's a big player on that team.
I think we get out of this hole that you can continue to dig.
We'll go into the dispatches, which sometimes make the hole deeper, but we'll find out here. Let's go over to Chuckles with a dispatch about high-priced weddings.
Hey, y'all talking about spending that $29,000 on a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I can fully understand that. Me and my wife, we had been pretty close. We went down there to the courthouse, paid about $120.
There you go.
And then afterwards, we went and took everybody to Chili's. That's about $15 a plate, and it was like 15 people.
That adds up.
Yeah, everything was great though. Loved it.
Let me tell you the move here.
Chili's has that BOGO margarita, though.
They do. The buckets of them. Buckets and buckets of those margaritas.
only in Florida, though.
It's because
Really?
we're the ones who are their target audience for this, I think. But if you take... If you're going to get married, all right, if somebody out there is thinking about getting married right now, we're talking about how much the average wedding costs now, how insane it is, like $50,000 or $30,000 in the Southeast, $50,000 in the Northeast, in places like New Jersey. That's an average wedding that costs that much. That's kind of crazy to me. I would think get all your friends together, have a big party for your wedding, do some of that stuff. But don't go crazy on it. Maybe budget like $5,000 for a good time, which I think you could throw a pretty fun party for $5,000. And then don't go overboard.
Right.
And then afterwards, take like $10,000. Take the person that you just married, go on a beautiful vacation that you will never forget for the rest of your life.
Simple as that. Thank you, Sean.
Go somewhere stunning, and then you've spent what, $15,000 as opposed to at least $29,000 on one night.
If this radio thing doesn't work for you, I'm thinking wedding planner.
I could work that out. I don't know if people would trust me in the
Want to
wedding
get you
planning.
guys magnets?
Do I look trustworthy?
No.
Wow, you said that very fast. What about me doesn't look trustworthy?
Where do I start?
Okay. What about me says
hat.
like the hat says untrustworthy? What's wrong with the hat?
You sit down with a couple and you're wearing that outfit. I'm not giving you $10,000 to figure out something.
What do you think I'm going to do with it?
Probably spend it on like the wrong measurements of tables. Everyone has to sit on the floor.
All right, I'll admit that is not good.
You
for
don't look at
me.
measurements. You just buy immediately.
I have done that so many times. It's embarrassing. I've made many mistakes buying little miniature furniture sometimes when I didn't measure anything.
They're gonna want like an altar for the wedding, and you end up with 12 mini altars.
I would screw that up for sure.
First, just okay that you bought like 50 trophies.
Yes,
and we just needed one.
I didn't notice that I
And the
ordered too many trophies.
The trophy was not even for just okay. It was for today I learned.
Yeah, it was the trophy that went to the person who got the most of those back in the day. But I'm a new man.
Oh.
I'm a changed man now. You guys don't know
What
this.
changed you?
Well, making a lot of mistakes. For example, the building Sabrina's new workstation in the studio, I measured.
What did you do?
I measured that a million times. We were like, it did everything but tape it on the floor to make sure that would be the right size for this application. So that one, bam, one in the good column. Also,
didn't you have to return?
There was
a
that giant pole. Yeah.
The one all the
Look
way
at
to the right
that
of the
beauty.
screen was a lot bigger when you bought it.
There was a poll incident.
Still looking for name suggestions.
I did screw up one thing. I'm just not good at this stuff, okay? I admit it. I'm bad at this stuff. I
So
don't
do you want to
the
ask
work.
yourself the question you just asked us? Would you trust
That
yourself?
doesn't make me look not untrustworthy. These people wouldn't know that at first glance. You know this because you've seen me make these mistakes over and over again.
I don't know if you just sold that.
I think that if this person was a newbie, they'd go, This guy looks like he's going to do a good job.
Okay.
I trust him. I think he's going to be fantastic. Maybe not, though. When we come back, we got more of you. Your dispatches are flying in. Plus, there's an argument about baby boxes for some reason. I just kind of learned stuff about this when we had that story about the first ever baby put in the baby box.
Oh, I thought you were
Remember
talking
that?
about vagina.
No, not that. This is a different thing. This is
That's it too.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a little longer from that one to this one sometimes, but I want to tell you what's going on with this because it's absolutely insane, and it's coming up next on the News Junkie.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June. June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me that it was gonna...
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Riding the daily roller coaster of viral news from the front row. It's the News Junkie.
Liars! Some of you are just flat out liars.
Why?
I gotta say, I try to follow when I see like polling data. I try to see where everybody's head's at. You know, what are people thinking about particular topics? Maybe it's something controversial, right? And everybody's talking about it. I'm like, what do the people actually think when they get on the phone or they go online to some pollster thing and they could just give an honest opinion, and then we could find out what the pulse of the state of the country is. I like to follow that stuff. And now, sometimes I've been looking at these and I'm like, you guys are liars. There's a lot of people who, even though it's just a poll, you're still lying on it. And it seems to me that there's a lot of you out there that are fully willing to lie like this, because the question that was asked in this one is got to be close to 100% that have done this. And only 31% of people were honest enough and brave enough to admit that this is them and that they have done this. I'll tell you, when I look at this question and I look at places like Discord, 100% of Discord has already done this. The News Junkie Discord, 100% of you have done this thing. Trust me on that. About 75% of the Twitch people have done this, and 99% of the YouTubers have done this. That's the breakdown of this. And the question they asked was, have you ever hit the button to close an elevator's doors because you saw somebody was trying to get on and you wanted to leave without them? No shot that there's a 61% group of people who have never, ever, ever done that before. Everybody in this room has done this. Will you guys be honest and admit this?
I hit the button very often, but never to avoid somebody.
You've never hit it like, oh, there's a person coming, but it's like, you know, did you hit the button real quick?
Are they not close?
No, they're not close enough. It's like that odd point
them, then.
where you have to like hit the door hold button and you're waiting there like a fool.
No, I am being honest when I say, you know how awkward I am, that as much as I would have wanted to do it inside, I am the person who like has met eyes with them already. And so I'm holding the door, or I'm throwing my arm to be chopped off
the doors. Yeah.
because I don't want it to be weird, especially if they hit the button and the doors open back up when it's clear that I was trying to close it. No way.
Yeah, but what you got to do is you scoot over to the side of the door.
Oh, my God, so you do it all the time?
I've done it before. Not all the time. But you scoot over to the side of the
Have
elevator.
Have you done it to anyone in this room?
No, not to you guys. No, to other people at iHeart, I've done it before.
Name them.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember who it was. Just some rando. And we'd be running a little late for the show or something.
Your rando colleague.
No, I don't even know. There's somebody in the building, right? I didn't recognize the face. And we're running late. I scoot over in the elevator to the side with the buttons on it so they can't really see me. And then you hit the closed door button repeatedly. Like that's going to make it faster.
And also that elevator, while the elevator itself is not very slow, the when you pick the floor, that almost like it's almost like it's wired to the closed door button.
Yes.
As soon as you hit that floor number, it's like, and I'm like, oh man, this elevator means business.
I've done it before. I heard the person go, wow, you know, they're screaming out. They want to get on the elevator. Oh, too bad, man. You gotta be here on time. I think A lot of people have done that. With the elevator,
not certain times for the elevator.
There's the time when I'm inside and the doors are already closing, and you're like, especially.
You would be so mad if someone did that to you, Sean.
It depends. It depends on so many circumstances. Here's what it depends on. When you're in the elevator and you see somebody coming towards you, the first thing is, what is the distance? If the distance is more than like 10 feet or something, sayonara. I'm off and I'm going to the next floor.
Especially, I mean, at times we have to get upstairs because the break's going to be over.
There's another elevator there.
You know, yeah.
You can take the other one if it works.
You guys are dicks.
It's very rare that both of them are working, but
it's the same. Yeah. No, I was there on Monday, and definitely one of them is out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, if we have to be on the air at a specific time, there's only so much time for us to take this elevator ride. Sorry, man, you're going.
You're out of luck.
Wow.
Same with if the bathroom's being cleaned, I only have so many minutes to be able to use this thing.
So you poop in front of that poor janitor lady.
No,
janitor's just sitting there taking it all in.
No, but I've gone in to pee, and the janitor lady's been like, "I need a cleaning," and I'm like, "I have to go."
Okay, so I will make you completely uncomfortable while you're trying to do your job.
Oh God,
not comfortable.
Probably pee all over the seat
I'm
too.
showing
You
her
just
my
cleaned
wiener.
it.
It all that's so much stranger when you use the word wiener in that sentence. It's also dependent on the person's level of hustle. Because if they see that perhaps the elevator is about to leave, the door's been open for long enough, and they
You need to speed up.
Yeah, if they start to move, and now they're moving at like a faster rate, like, oh, okay, now I'll wait.
My friend used to do this thing when we would cross the street and there would be cars waiting. He always had this move that it's like something you would do getting out on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
It's a move that makes it look like you're kind of increasing speed, but you're not.
Yeah.
So he would do this. He would do
just
this move
your arms.
where he kind of like He would kind of like clap and go.
No change of pace.
Doesn't change the pace at all.
It's
Or
like-
you get like the little 2-hop, and then you go right back to the same walking.
I've done that one before. See, this happens more often than not when it's a hold the door situation, and you're at like 7-Eleven or something. You're coming out. And you're holding the door, and you see that person that's just that awkward distance away, and they're not increasing their momentum.
Same move.
Yeah, I'm just shutting the door at that
Clap,
point.
little extra shoulders. No change of pace.
But then there are, it's the rare occasion of the person, and I find a little enjoyment in it, that I hold the door open and they're so far away that they are forced to run.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do like the idea that, like, I didn't have to do that. They could have walked just fine, and now they're winded because I stood there waiting for them to walk through the doorway.
I like when they pick up the pace and they start to run toward the elevator door, and you still hit the door shut button on them.
You are a bully.
And then
That's evil.
And then you go, oh no, oh God! Like you look at them like it's beyond my control. There's nothing that I can do to prevent this elevator from going away right now. It's just screwed up. There's a bunch of people chiming in on this. And somebody says, Sam on YouTube says, some elevators are small and you don't want to be touching strangers' butts for however long you're in there. Especially,
I've never touched a stranger's butt.
Especially, though, in the iHeart
Please
situation.
grab that. Please, I'm asking. My birthday.
That's a lie, too. You have to have, in all of your interactions on this earth, accidentally touch some stranger's butt at some point.
Not in an elevator.
No, okay, that's true. This is a very
That I
specific.
know of.
The elevators at iHeart, as we know, are prone to breaking. I've been stuck in the elevator before.
Yeah.
It's been stuck on a bunch of people. And so when I think about that, I'm like, I'd rather be stuck in the elevator by myself. I don't want a second or perhaps even third person in here. And I don't want the elevator talker. That's another reason why you smash that closed door button when you see somebody just a distance away. You get in the elevator and there's always somebody's like, rough day today, huh? Oh my God, I don't want to interact with you right now.
I gotta ask, and I'm not hating on this because I think there's a lot of great opinions and a lot of true colors showing, especially in the chat. But is there a story that was related to
This was just a poll that came out, and when I saw it, I was just like, "There's no way."
What? How did that poll even come to be? Is this what people get paid for nowadays?
Yes, one of the biggest polling outlets is called YouGov, YOUGOV, and they do stuff all the time, and some of them are just outrageously stupid.
I want this job. I want to work for one of the biggest polling outlets in the country.
Just make up.
But the polls that I work on, they're not deciding, what side of the spectrum you're on. If you're in favor of some legislation, not in favor of some legislation. I want to know the elevator vote.
And then I want to start a huge internet controversy by bringing up every couple of years crinkle cut fries
versus curly fries,
steak fries.
Okay.
I mean, next poll: people who remember dial-up. Did you ever purposely pick up the phone and hit some dial tone to knock your dad off of AOL because it's your turn to use it?
I'm telling you, I get so triggered by this. I don't know why, but it's one of the few things that triggers me like this. And one of the ones that YouGov had, it was, I think, last week, but I might be wrong. Maybe this is a British thing. I don't know, Celia, you know some stuff about
British
food and cooking, and maybe this is the world that it's in. They said, is tomato soup a food or a drink? This was literally one of the questions. It's obviously a food.
It's a food.
And it was like 30% of the people were like, it's a drink. And I go, why are they asking this question? And why are they answering that?
Does it make it a drink if you put it in a cup?
You could be drinking it, but I think you're still drinking a soup, right? Because
What's a V8?
V8's a drink.
That's in the drink territory, but it's close. It's wandering out of its lane a
But you
little
put
bit.
it in a bowl and you dip grilled cheese in it, and all of a sudden it's tomato soup kind of.
It's a real loose tomato soup.
It's a gross gazpacho unless you heated it.
I said maybe this is a British thing where they call it they consider it a drink.
No, but I've seen situations where people will drink instead of a hot coffee or a hot tea, do like a hot broth or a bone broth or something like that.
For the morning?
It doesn't
That's
have
a red flag
Just
for
put it
me.
in a cup and drink it?
Yeah.
These people are animals. Some of these folks are, I just don't understand it. And I got to get away from the polls thing because it triggers the hell out of me. Alicia on YouTube says, what really sucks is when you hold the door for somebody and they don't even acknowledge it. Or
I hate that.
you let somebody in traffic and they don't even give you the thank you wave or head nod. That is another big one that gets people. And yeah, for me, the door thing, I told the story about it at 7-Eleven that one time where I held the door open for this guy and I waited a long time. Like he was ways away and he was going so slow and I held the door open and he walked in and he said nothing. And I go, you're welcome.
I've done that.
And
I used to do that as a child.
Yeah.
I used to do that as a kid.
The guy was so mad. he was pissed that I did it. But you as a child would shame people for not thanking you when you held the door open for them?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, how young are we talking?
If we get manners drilled into us, it would be nice if adults did the same.
Yeah, that's number one in the manners book.
I'm talking single-digit grade.
God almighty, man. That was one that always got me. But then you see sweet stuff. At 7-Eleven the other day, I saw this young kid, maybe 12, and he held open the door, and this old lady, she was like... She slowly gets the door open for her. And then there's like a family coming out, and he's like, no problem, everybody have a good day. They're all saying, thinking, I'm like, look, this is good. We can come together on some things still. Not on the whole elevator door close button.
Oh, man, I got really mad at a gas station once. Remember the very small gas station that was near the station in Maitland?
Yeah.
That only has one pair of pumps or something
yes.
like that. Saw two people there had finished pumping their gas and then decided to just full on have a conversation.
Right.
Blocking the pump. And I was backed into the parking spot waiting for one of them to leave.
Real hyped right
and I was like, I was starting to take pictures of them. I was like,
Celia's plotting an attack.
I am ready to digitally
Next door
attack
their ass.
these. Yes, absolutely.
And the last group of people I would like to rage on. Just so we can get this out in a very cathartic way, okay?
I don't know. I feel like I need to go run a lap or something and punch a window.
I don't know if this group of people gets you guys too. But again, it's all triggered by this stupid poll about the
Thanks a
elevator
lot.
door close button. 31% of people said yes when they said, have you ever hit the button to close an elevator's door because you saw somebody was trying to get on and you wanted to leave without them? 31% said yes. 61% said no. That's fine. I think some of them are lying, but 61% of people said no. 8% of people said, I don't know. I can't stand when they do a poll where it's so obvious that you would have a yes or no answer on this, and there's those people who are,
Then don't answer answer the poll.
I'm not
Then
sure.
don't answer the poll.
They'll be like, what do you think about abortion? And they're like, 62% of people support abortion, and 34% of people are against abortion. And you're like, the other people haven't made up their mind on this issue?
It's
Like,
situational. Is it going to be a good-looking baby or
they're
not?
like, I could take it or leave it. I just don't really have an opinion on this yet. All of those polls, every poll should perfectly line up with 100%. Take a side, folks.
Thank you.
Pick a side and figure out where you want to be. Okay, let me do the slowed down audio now, then, because I didn't play that before. Oh, it didn't come through on my computer.
That's weird.
Yeah, it only came through on my phone. And the last time I tried to play something like this, everybody yelled at me. It was a whole.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous,
So you're gonna do it
and you're
again?
going to do it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
And I'm going to just grab the audio.
You want to
for
play from there? You can play it from over there.
Oh, no, keep talking.
I'll get to a dispatch real quick. In the meantime, here you can join us on the show. Sorry for raging at you for a good chunk of minutes there.
No, it felt good.
Yeah, it's good to get that off your chest.
Totally chill.
Here's Big Al. He's talking about air pump etiquette. Hang on, Big Al. We'll get to you in just a moment, I promise.
Like the air pump at the gas station?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
So speaking about the elevator etiquette, the one that I see the most is the free air pump at Wawa. I've seen shoving and yelling matches over who's next at those almost every time that I'm there. Nobody is ever civil when it comes to getting free air.
That's free at Wawa?
Wiggle, wiggle, pop, pop.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Wawa is one of the only places I think it does that.
His wiggle, wiggle, pop, pop was waggle, waggle.
Go to the end of it here.
Wiggle, wiggle, pop, pop.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's not the
I
first time I
apologize.
played weird, I think.
Dump that.
Everybody
I got it.
in chat right now is arguing over all the things that they like to bitch about, from people who sit right next to you, the person who plays the music on their speaker at a public place so everybody can hear it, and on and on and on. You got the audio from this?
I do.
This is what people say we've been sounding like on iHeart.
My father well enough, and his
ultimate gadget.
Yeah, exactly. His geeky self is not going to allow many of the family members to drive. I'm sure.
Well, your dad should be aware of this, just because I know
It's
he's
like we just nailed whippets.
That sounds so bizarre.
into that kind of stuff. There was a story out today.
All right, there we go. Hold on.
Great time, funny.
I'll get to the baby box thing when we come back. I promise. I'll pay that off. We got the next episode coming up. We got Fritz on the Street coming up. It's a busy Wednesday. Stick with us. That's coming up next on the News Junkie.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June. June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me?
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
High diving, face first into the world's most viral newsroom. This is the News Junkie.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. All of our friends, no matter where you are, friends in Dallas on 97.1 The Freak. Hello! And take part in this show by simply sending us a dispatch. That's what we call it. You don't have to call us, you don't have to wait on the phones, all that stuff. Just use the technology. We all have it in the palm of our hands with your smartphone. And go to thenewsjunkie.com and hit the dispatch button. Bam! Easy as that. Tips at thenewsjunkie.com. An email rolling in from Joe. And Joe says, hey there, News Junkie. I listen to the show every day on iHeart's website because I joined the Navy from Central Florida and have since moved away. But I enjoy the show enough that I keep listening because it helps the day go quicker.
Thank you for your service.
Joe, appreciate you. Anyways, here's another fun story for the military spending a lot of money on something that for the civilian world costs not as much. The Air Force has since corrected this, but it was still fun to talk about when the story came out. Thanks for the show each day, and can I get a magnet to help spread the word? Wiggle, wiggle, Joe. Nice try, Joe, but maybe if you're lucky, maybe you'll get worked into Fritz on the Street and you can get one that way. And the story that he links to from military.com, it says Air Force ends purchase of pricey coffee cups after Senator complains. And They said, I'm trying to see how much it would cost. The Air Force isn't going to put in an order for more $1,000 coffee cups anytime soon. They're talking about how they were canceling this. I wanted to see how much each one costs. Oh, in July, the Air Force said the 60th Aerial Port Squadron at Travis Air Force Base, California, purchased 10 hot cups for $6,930. The price for each cup surged from $693 to $1,280 in 2018, resulting in a cost of $32,000 for 25 cups. Very expensive. They said the Air Force claims $326,000 has been spent for the purchase of nearly 400 of these hot cups since 2016, which brings the average unit across the purchase period to $800 for a damn coffee cup. And they said
you
now...
put soup in that?
I don't know if you can or not, but they've got some cheaper ones, thankfully. Probably only just $50 or $100 a piece for those coffee cups. Real quick, before we work in a couple of dispatches, let me get this baby box story in. We learned this year, I believe, there was a story about a mother who, for the first time ever, used one of these baby boxes that they have. They're called Safe Haven.
I think that story was a little misleading.
Was it?
Yes, because it was the first time that this particular brand or version of the baby box was used.
Mm-hmm.
But the fire station thing, that's been around for a long time, right?
Yeah, it has.
But you have to, look in the eyes of somebody.
Yeah, or just ditch a baby and haul ass away from the scene instead of putting him in the box.
And I remember last time we talked about the boxes is that there weren't as many available, despite how much we've talked about it.
How everybody seems to know
only
about them.
10.
Yeah, there was not a lot of these things throughout the entire state of Florida. I think they have these in other states too. But this is something that has been around for a long time. Most of us know about these baby boxes. And now they're fighting over these things because we fight over everything. And politicians just can't agree on simple stuff. And they said Safe Haven baby boxes and a Safe Haven for newborns are two charities with similar names with the same goal, providing distressed mothers with a place to surrender their unwanted newborns instead of dumping them in trash cans or along the side of the road. But a fight between the two is brewing in the Florida Senate. An existing state law, supported and promoted by a Safe Haven, allows parents to surrender newborns to firefighters and hospital workers without giving them their names. A new bill, supported by Safe Haven baby boxes, would give fire stations and hospitals the option to install these boxes where parents could drop off their babies without interacting with fire or hospital employees. The basic idea is that a mother who is in distress, who just knew that something bad was going to happen if she didn't do anything here, takes the baby, puts it in the box. It's essentially no questions asked. You leave the baby behind, and the baby gets to live instead of the inevitable conclusion in some of these cases where the mother actually just tosses the baby in the damn trash. And so that's what they wanted to push through.
So basically they're spending a little extra money to remove the requirement for the mother to have to see it.
Right. They want to make it so there's an out here for people who are desperate, who are maybe in the middle of a mental health crisis, who just know they're ill-prepared for a child like this. The bill recently passed the House unanimously, but there's a long-shot effort to block it in the Senate. Opponents call the boxes costly, unnecessary, and potentially dangerous for the babies, mothers, firefighters, and hospital workers. Each side accuses the other of being financially driven. The fight is getting extra attention because Governor Ron DeSantis and the GOP-dominated legislature are expected to soon ban abortions performed more than 6 weeks after conception. And these baby box bills are now the new fighting ground that they're going on. So imagine the insanity of saying, what we want to do now is stop with the baby boxes, right? We want to get rid of these baby boxes. So if somebody is having a mental breakdown and they have a newborn and they're by themselves and they have no way to care for this child, they don't have a place to go to get rid of this child in a safe way. But that has now become some sort of political issue. I don't know how, and House Republicans, Senate Republicans, you're crazy on this. Like, if you think that you polled, let's go back to polls. If you think you polled the average Floridian and said, should we have baby boxes so that in these situations the baby can be saved? the vast majority of people are going to say, of course we should. I thought we were out here protecting the kids. We're trying to protect the kids. These are the ultimate protecting the kids. These are babies. I don't see how anybody with a brain and a pulse could be against this. And as we said earlier, it's not like they're on every corner, so it's not like it's this huge expense to anybody.
Right.
If they were like, we want to mandate one at every fire station, and it's going to cost $400 million, I could see where you might make an argument or something. But this is a simple plan that they have that should at least be out there so that people have a place to go to. And it's so stupid that anybody would be against this. And I think what they're really mad about, I truly believe this, I think what they're really mad about is the idea that there's no punishment for the woman who is dropping off this newborn that they can't take care of.
God.
I think that they don't like that there's like no punishment for a person because for some reason that person should be punished. Who cares about that? This is an infant.
And I also think that of all the things that they could be punished for, this is not one of them. I mean, they could leave their baby in a dumpster, throw it over a bridge.
Yeah, it happens. This is not like some farcical thing. This literally happens.
And arguments like this will put expecting mothers in full fear to do something more extreme because they think they're going to be arrested by putting their baby in the proper baby box.
Right. You have to have safety nets. You have to have ways for people to get out of situations. For God's sake, I hate to even mention this, but there was a story in fallen San Francisco. God bless this once beautiful city that is in such trouble now. And in San Francisco,
I thought there was a place in San Francisco called Fallen.
the whole place, the whole thing, man. And there's this it's unbelievable. The story about a woman who went into labor on the sidewalk, and they helped her birth this child. And they said this woman lived on the street, and she was doing crack, smoking crack all day long before she all of a sudden went into labor and had this kid. If you don't think that somebody like that should have a box where they can put that newborn and that doesn't make the world a better place, you've lost the plot, man. You don't get it. It's not about being like, emotional about these situations. It's about being smart and actually caring about, in this case, the children that people often pretend to care about.
I mean, if she's smoking crack throughout the entire pregnancy, I also feel like, move over, baby box. Let's give her an opportunity to not have a crack baby.
I'm so perplexed by why anyone. This seems like as easy as saying, do you think America is a good force in the world? Like, it's like the simplest question to answer, and they fumble the ball on this. It's like, how stupid can you be? This is why it's so frustrating for me, because I constantly get ping-ponged back and forth between moronic parties. We need more people. We need new things, better ideas. Oof. Okay.
How'd you run for president?
Oh, God, no.
Wedding planner, president?
Wedding planner first. So we'll see how that goes.
Ends with farmer.
Which one is
the farmer?
Which one is going to gray your hair faster?
I think they all are. It's all just a quick trajectory right to looking like the oldest of old men. When we come back, the next episode with Sabrina, what's coming up on the next episode?
So glad you asked. What's coming up on the next episode? Tampa be like, look what you made us do, Taylor Swift. Millie Bobby Brown is, halfway there, and by there I mean to married status, and the stranger thing is whom she is to wed. Plus, Margot Robbie thought the Barbie movie would never see the light of day after reading the script, and I may or may not have it. Find out if I do, and all that and much more coming up on the next episode.
And that is coming up next on the News Junkie.
What a day to be a Florida tomato. Sunny, warm, and expected afternoon showers. I am feeling so vibe. You say tomato, I say, what the?
Florida tomatoes. They're ripe for the picking. So look for fresh from Florida tomatoes where you shop and support our state. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Constant quest to stay calm, like that bear in the hammock. This is the News Junkie.
any of the show today, go over to thenewsjunkie.com, create your account right now, and then you can set as a dispatcher, interact with other people right there on the website. Let's get into it. Let's do the next episode.
Because there's a lot on TV, you can't possibly keep up with all of it, even though you should, because what else are you going to talk about?
What kind of people are these Jews?
Nothing. Weather's nice. It's time for the next episode with Sabrina.
The file only said what kind of people. I did not listen to that.
I say some things.
Smoke weed every day.
Hold up. The next episode brought to you by That Mortgage Guy Don. ThatMortgageGuyDon.com and the Home Loans Radio Show. Refinancing, buying your first dream home. Work with the man who has your best interest in mind. Friend of the show, part of the Real Radio family, and here for you. ThatMortgageGuyDon.com.